Hi everyone, I'm Jani Viljoen, less of a BIM consultant and more of a BIM counsellor and also Director of Professional Services at Baker Baynes. Today I welcome you to our BIM Matters talk, a talk with different industry professionals. This week we're featuring our extraordinary Women in BIM judges, where we talk about matters related to BIM and the digital built environment, and also why it matters.
Dr. Davey, could you share your perspective on why campaigns like Extraordinary Women in BIM are crucial for the industry?
In the built environment, we have a history of thinking that we can only do one job. And we start our careers with that in mind. And along the way, life happens and we think we cannot do other things. And the digital practitioner is one of those new career paths that are actually opening up work and employment opportunities and whole new trajectories for lots of people that has never existed before. And the Women in BIM kinds of campaigns is not just helping us with transformation and the importance of that, but it's also showing us all sorts of new ways to service our environments, to service our communities. The digital divide, especially in Africa, is a major issue. Because digital intelligence is more than how to click the mouse, it's more than how to communicate on email. It's a broad spectrum skill set, and for the last 100 years in architecture and engineering and planning and built environment and construction, we set the digital aside as a specialist skill, as an outside skill. But in reality, it's our daily job is to work in a digital delivery way. BIM and this type of campaigning with Women in BIM and BIM Harambee and BIM Africa and all of these things are actually normalizing our digital reality. It's not an exceptional space, it's a normal space. And this, when we do these things, we allow others to see a place for themselves and how they can contribute. More than just a starting skill like architect, engineer, construction manager, but a service offering professional. And that's the most interesting thing about these campaigns. You can see it in our winners, you can see it in Shamima and Michelle, and the kinds of professionals they are representing to others. It's behavioral change, it's not just skills, it's opening up a whole new way of doing good. And BIM is a vehicle for us to get there.
Please share with the audience what you consider to be the standout qualities that define these women as extraordinary in the context of building information modeling. What qualities or achievements set them apart and made them the exceptional BIM champions that they are?
Yeah, sure. So besides them just being remarkable women in their own personal capacity, I think what is standout qualities for me that resonates with the title of An Extraordinary Woman in BIM is really their eagerness to continuously learn, to grow, to better themselves, to push their own boundaries, but also the boundaries of BIM. Both of them are really innovators in their own sense, continuously striving to use the best technology, to improve workflows and project outcomes, essentially to work smarter, not harder. Another standout quality is really also then their willingness to share their knowledge and to teach others, whether it's like Shamima being a lecturer, or she was one in the past, or just training teams in-house and sharing knowledge. I think that's quite special. In terms of achievements, Shamima, she has also really flourished in her career, where she's now at a point where she's a digital lead for AECOM Europe, and really at the forefront of all things BIM. And then also, Michelle herself also has a few awards that she already has on her name. I think what she also really managed to do is to continuously strive to get better ways of doing things, to automate her workflows and deliver projects successfully.
Do you think individuals must be BIM champions in their respective domains, or is it better to be an all-rounder?
So that's a yes and a no. So I think every big project, big companies do require a BIM champion, a BIM expert. It's a full-time job. BIM to the rest of the team, especially in smaller teams, in smaller companies, should be an extension of your profession. So an architect, for example, has to know how to design, how to use different types of tools to present their ideas, their concepts, their presentations, etc. So I think to be efficient in your work, it has to be an extension of who you are in your profession as well.
How important do you think it is to have a common set of BIM standards and guidelines?
Good question. I absolutely cannot imagine working without a set of standards at all. It must be terribly confusing to not know what to do, when to do it, what to share, with who, etc., etc. It's I think it really has put everyone around the same table: architects, engineers, clients, every single other stakeholder knows exactly what to communicate, when to communicate it, what to expect, project deadlines, etc. It's an amazing space to be in, to have everyone around the same table.
What are your thoughts on the need for a national BIM task force and the development of BIM standards and guidelines like the ISO 19650 National Annex?
The wonderful thing about being in Africa is that we have a carte blanche with exploring ideas. We can learn from the rest of the world and we can adapt all of that stuff for our context. And our context is very special. We've got a very broad economy, everything from the lower end of our economy to the super high-end formal economies, and all of them are living in the built environment. So for us to look at the future of the built environment without digitalization is not possible. And if we are not going to bring everyone along into the digital future of Africa, we're going to get stuck where someone else is going to do that for us. And that is a bigger problem than just what is BIM and how to be a practitioner. If we're looking at the future cities of the world, 90% of the cities and city-making activities and urbanization will be on this continent, with Asia following as well. So it's for us a much bigger picture. So setting up a BIM national task force and annexes and getting people involved in the digital reality of our future is fundamental. It doesn't matter if you're in the built environment or not. Everyone will be living with a digital environment, whether it's physical or real, out there or in here. And the BIM task team or a committee or something that helps us bring that message across at all stratas of our communities, our professional spaces, and our project spaces, from the small firm, from the one-person contract consultant, all the way to the 10,000 employee market. Everybody is a beginner in this space, and we need to be able to recognize that and communicate in a beginner's mindset to get that future active. And that's the reason I would say, without a BIM, a coherent approach to adopting digitalization like ISO 19650 or the BIM Task Force, without coherently working together, we actually might be sabotaging our own future.
How do you see ISO 19650 shaping the landscape of BIM? And why are common data environments so important?
Yeah, sure. So we all know when we are working together on projects, in teams, or in an organization for that matter, we need standards. We need standards for everyone to be aligned, for consistency, for people to know what to do, how to do it, and when. Now, getting back to the ISO 19650 and how it's shaping the BIM landscape, it's really key, as it provides a set of standards, international standards rather, and a BIM framework, for consistency and data management across the life cycle of a project. It also promotes standard processes, interoperability, collaboration, better coordination, roles and responsibilities, and also get better, more consistent project outcomes. In terms of a common data environment, or like a lot of people refer to it as a single source of truth, that plays a crucial role in standards and also running projects and delivering them. A common data environment provides a central platform for people to collaborate on, for secure and standard data exchange, also to store information, data security. You've got access control, you've got version control of documents, really fostering better collaboration, also alignment with the ISO 19650.
How do you see the integration of BIM in education and training programs?
For a long time in architecture, we focused on product. In other words, make building, make thing, make end result, present the model, persuade about the product. We know how to do that now. We've learned from 100 years of how to make product really well. And we went through a history of improving product making at a tremendous pace, faster than any other discipline. Architecture itself, as an example, is 100 years old, if you can call it that much. But now that we are so good at product making, we've discovered that we really suck at process. We don't know how to deliver that project. We are very bad at working together to make sure everyone is satisfied. And BIM is, for me, it's actually a soft skill. It's a soft skill space that is way more about delivering satisfaction in the project environment, using a tool that is digital, but it's about satisfaction in the project space, whether it's in the day-to-day, how difficult is it to do my job, how long can I reduce the burden on myself, and can I reduce the burden on people around me, and can I reduce the burden on the expense of a project that goes poorly. And BIM is a way to flip that coin, to reimagine all the waste that we unintentionally bring into our work as architects or as whatever we do. It's a way to expose the inefficiencies that we tend to not think about at all. Because BIM forces you to get clear, it forces you to be exact, it forces you to standardize, it forces you to ask people what they really need from you as opposed to pushing out work forever and creating excessive burden. So for me, in architectural education, as an example, we must recognize that the digital architect is the fundamental 21st century architect. And understanding that product is one thing, but process is 80% of delivery is the biggest shift we can bring in our education space right now.
What are some steps that educational institutes can take to prepare the next generation of architects for the digital age?
I think it's a multi-pronged approach. The first thing that any professional in the built environment must recognize is while we are in an apprenticeship education, in other words, we learn from our mentors and experienced people, engineers, planners, architects, we've got a lot of valleys and mountains that they have climbed and we can learn from that project environment. We must also recognize that the real practitioner of the 21st century is a person who's capable of learning very fast. And the younger generation is as valuable as the experienced generation. But if we don't shift the educational paradigm away from only the numbers of years you've been in your profession equals to the competence, if we don't recognize that beginners and advanced persons are equally important in project delivery in the 21st century, we're never going to actually be able to produce a built environment that is successful. Beginners are not necessarily experienced, but their capability of learning far exceeds an experienced person, and that's what we need for the future. So for us in education, it's about shifting, leveling our knowledge field and starting the exchange in a horizontal way, not in a vertical way. And BIM allows us to do that.
What do you see as initiatives for digitally mature individuals? What are some of the key competencies needed to successfully deliver a BIM project?
I think for starters, it's really digital proficiency, which means mastering and really knowing the relevant software tools that you're supposed to use and also BIM technologies, and be able to competently apply that in your day-to-day and on projects. Then also data management, so being able to competently organize and manage data, not just throughout the life cycle of a project, but also in your day-to-day work. Another thing is proper collaboration skills, being able to effectively collaborate and communicate with different stakeholders, but also across multidisciplinary teams. Another thing is information modeling. If you are in a role where you need to produce smart and intelligent 3D BIM models, being competent in that, upskilling, knowing what you're doing is very important. Another thing is interoperability, understanding interoperability standards, being able to apply it to seamlessly exchange data and information, not just between different softwares, but also across different stakeholders. And then also another thing would be continuous learning, is really to continuously be eager to upskill yourself, to learn new skills, to apply it, and to be on top of the latest technology.
What are your thoughts on collaboration among different stakeholders in the construction industry?
It's still a very confusing space for a lot of people. Everyone still seems to have their own idea of what BIM is, what does it do, how they want to use it, what do they want to achieve. So I think it's absolutely critical to, in this case, have an expert guide you on what you should be using it for, how it should be used, and what do you want to achieve from that.
What challenges have you encountered in promoting BIM adoption?
Yeah, what it comes down to is we're having to fix a lot of mistakes that companies have made in the name of BIM. That has been the biggest challenge. It's not, do you guys need BIM? Do you want it? Do you like it? Does it work for you? Everyone loves it. We've determined that, you know, the companies, the teams that has worked with BIM absolutely loves it.
Can you share some examples of BIM projects throughout your career where the practical application of digital technologies led to improvements in project outcomes?
So first of all is access to the best tools available and software as well. I think that has really helped us on projects to deliver it better and to also have better workflows, work together better as a team, and also deliver better outcomes. Also then anything automation, I mean having robust, defined workflows, automated as far as possible, especially if you are working on large projects. We've really seen significant benefits being digitally mature and also having access to good technology. And then the third thing, coming back to the common data environment, obviously, is having a proper, robust common data environment set up where people are collaborating properly. I think a lot of us who have worked on projects using a common data environment can really say they've realized the benefits and the many advantages of using it. You know, you've got a proper filing structure, you've got naming standards, you've got searchability, just knowing how to search for files and being able to easily find files. That's really a big win. Also, version control of documents, controlling access to certain files or folders, data security, and then also better collaboration and coordination. If you think about some of the built-in automated tools to do coordination and clash detection, that's really significant and really makes your outcomes and the way you deliver a project and also your experience on a project, just so much easier.
How does community engagement contribute to the growth in BIM awareness? And how can professionals actively participate to foster a more collaborative BIM environment?
The interesting thing about BIM is it is the real work. When we are in big firms, organizational leadership, they're not doing, and they are leading from a different perspective. They're leading strategic, they're leading the why, but they're never leading the how. The community of BIM, you'll find that there's certain characteristics that come with BIM people. They're very open-minded, they're very creative, they solve problems on every day. They are curious about many things and they are non-competitive. Usually the BIM practitioner is a non-competing person who's genuinely interested to make his or your work better. And that is a quality that we don't get anywhere else unless you're in a community. So the other interesting thing about being in communities is that you learn faster when you're in a community than you will ever learn on your own. You pick up tricks, you pick up networks, you pick up bigger ideas, you eliminate wasteful ideas. And there's no amount of theory or reading or YouTube watching ever that will give you insight as fast as another person could. And for that reason, showing up is 90% of the job.
What are some key digital trends that South Africa can learn from? And how can we adapt these trends to suit our unique construction landscape?
Okay, so newbie on the block, as we all know, is artificial intelligence, AI. Although I haven't delved into it very deeply myself yet, but definitely going to. Even like tools like ChatGPT, I mean, people are using it for Dynamo scripts, or even at the early stages of designs, to sort of get inspiration for design. If you think about automated rendering or visualization, even like Midjourney is the new kid on the block where people can, it's actually scary. They sort of have an idea in mind or a precedent and they can just load it in and it produces something similar but different, but that can, inspire them for a design. Also, another trend is anything automation. Automation as far as possible. If we think about Dynamo scripts, using that to automate tasks in Revit. Even for data management, you can use Dynamo with Excel. Using Python with Civil 3D, Grasshopper, Rhino, the list goes on. And then even add-ins for Revit. There are a few available already to automate certain tasks in Revit, but also developing add-ins. That's also quite a trend. And then the last one is in open BIM standards and interoperability. It's becoming more and more important, and I think understanding it properly, knowing how to apply it, and also like how different softwares connect, just how to seamlessly exchange information between softwares, between platforms, and also realizing that the client also sometimes have a different platform or tool that they use in order to deliver it in that format, that's quite important. So that's why I say interoperability is also becoming a trend.
Do you believe that technology plays a crucial role in improving how we manage construction?
Definitely, no doubt. If you look at the cars that we drive, the latest smartwatches, technology is all around us, and in every single facet of our lives we are embracing it. So why should it be any different when it comes to the construction industry?
How do you foresee technology shaping the future of the job site?
So everyone is striving to be more efficient in what they're doing, faster, more accurate. So I think we're currently birthing a whole new generation of tech-savvy professionals. I think also when you look at the attention span of the younger generation, they tend to be lazy. So, we're sitting with a generation of tech-savvy individuals who are constantly looking at new ways every single day on how to be more creative. How can I do something by just sitting in this chair, not getting up? Yeah, so I definitely do not see, us having less jobs in the future, which is of course everyone's fear. But I do see new opportunities, new professional skills. And of course, the curves changing within a project. So where is the most time spent in a project? I do see a shift in time being spent maybe on phase 4, moving a little bit more to phase 1, for example. So that's with regards to time. With regards to where are you spending most of your money? Is it fixing mistakes? Or is it, in the design phases of the project, eliminating or thinking about mistakes that could be made? So I definitely see things shifting, but less jobs, definitely not. Different professional skills, definitely.
Have you seen the use of AI in education? And what do you think are some of the pros and cons?
There's a couple of ways to understand the benefits and challenges of AI and what we use it for. And in our world, we have two kinds of challenges we work on. We have very complex challenges. We call them wicked problems. You might have heard that in other places, where the answer isn't clear, but the challenge is complex. And then we have kind problems, where the answer is very clear and it takes expertise to get there. And a great example of a kind problem is a neurosurgeon or a heart surgeon. It's a very complicated task, but it's achievable, finishable. The challenge can be done with expertise. AI is really good at kind problems solving, finding optimization, predicting according to very well understood things. AI is very poor with wicked problems. Human beings are very good with wicked problems. We know how to take complex things from many, many different perspectives, put meaning to it, and produce something new. AI is not so great at that. It's also not its purpose. So for us in education, I think the most important thing is to know when to use the AI for what. So for example, if you use ChatGPT to come up with a quick idea, a concept about a better thing, that you need to communicate to a large bunch, a whole new audience very fast, to just impress upon someone a complex solution. That's really useful. But to solve that wicked problem, you need human creativity. You need physical, tangible things. AI is not going to hit the nail into the wall, and it's not going to know that it did it poorly or well unless a human being is involved in that instruction. But AI is going to be really, really good at managing your energy and your performance on your asset. It's really going to predict very well when the cloud cover comes and the rain falls, that the flooding might impact many people downstream. So it's very good with kind problems, not very bad with wicked problems. And this is a good thing for us because it means that if we practice how to deploy AI to solve all the thousands of kind problems, well, we can spend more time on the complex work, which we're very good at. And I think that is the kind of thing we need to embrace when we are teaching what AI is for. It has to have a purpose, and the AI won't ever tell you why. We do that. And I think that's the most exciting thing about incorporating AI issues in our education, to figure out where shall we deploy the right tool to hit the nail in the right spot.
BIM really does matter. Share your thoughts on what the key issues are that needs to be addressed in BIM forums and BIM experts to help BIM flourish in South Africa. Send these thoughts to bimmatters@bakerbaynes.com. Also watch out for our next BIM Matters episode, as we will delve further into important focus areas around BIM and digital workflows that we believe will ignite meaningful conversations and empower our built environment communities.